Let there be no mistake about it. Incitement to genocide is a crime in and of itself. Taking action to prevent it, as the Genocide Convention obliges us to do, is not a policy option. It is an international legal obligation of the highest order. I say this because a person like Ahmadinejad, who denies the Holocaust as he incites to a new one, who is engaged in a massive domestic repression of the rights of his own people, symbolized by the targeting of the religious minority, the Baha'i in Iran, who is a standing and in standing violation of UN Security Council resolutions in respect of becoming an atomic power. For such a person to have addressed the United Nations Conference on Human Rights shames the cause of human rights itself, assaults the integrity of the United Nations Charter under whose protective cover he had a podium, and betrays the sanctity of Zachor, of remembrance itself. Ahmadinejad should not have been an invited guest at the podium of the United Nations today. He belongs in the docket of the accused. The third lesson is the dangers of crimes of indifference, of conspiracies of silence, the precursors of inaction, and which aided and abetted the genocide of European Jewry, the bystanders, the accomplices. They helped make the Holocaust possible. Indeed, we meet on the shores of Lake Geneva, across from which is Evian, reminding us of the Evian Conference, reminding us that at the time the world was divided into two places, places where the Jews could not live and places from which the Jews could not leave. Again, as Elie Wiesel reminds us, indifference and inaction always means coming down on the side of the victimizer, never on the side of the victim. Let there be no mistake. Indifference in the face of evil is not only acquiescence with evil, it's complicity with evil itself. A fourth lesson: if the 20th century was the age of atrocity, it was also the age of impunity. Few of the perpetrators were brought to justice. And so, just as there must not be any refuge for bigotry, any sanctuary for hate, so there must not be any safe haven for the génocidaires, for the perpetrators of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide in our time. The fifth enduring lesson of the Holocaust is that it was made possible not only because, as it has been spoken of, the bureaucratization of genocide, as Robert Lifton has put it, but because of the trahison d'éclair, because of the complicity of the elites, physicians, church leaders, judges, lawyers, engineers, architects, educators, and the like. Holocaust crimes were also the crimes of the Nuremberg elites. Again, as Elie Wiesel, my Rebbe, put it so well, cold-blooded murder and culture did not exclude each other. If the Holocaust proved anything, it is that a person can both love poems and kill children. And so it's our responsibility always to speak truth to power as we hold power accountable to truth. And may I close with a word to the survivors of the Holocaust. For you are the true heroes of humanity. You have witnessed and endured the worst of inhumanity, but somehow you found in the resources of your own neshamas the courage to go on, in the depths of your own humanity, the courage to build, to rebuild your lives as you rebuilt the communities amidst which you lived. And so together this evening, let us remember and pledge, not as idle rhetoric, but as a commitment to action, that never again will we be indifferent to incitement and hate, that never again will we be silent in the face of evil, that never again will we ignore the plight of the vulnerable, that never again will be indifferent in the face of mass atrocity and impunity, that never again will we be indifferent to racism and anti-Semitism. As Elie Wiesel said this evening, Jews died in the Holocaust, but anti-Semitism did not die, though Jews died because of anti-Semitism. And we are witnessing yet again an old, new, escalating, sophisticated, global, virulent, and even lethal anti-Semitism that overlaps with classical anti-Semitism, but which is distinguishable from it, that found initial juridical expression in the Zionism as racism resolution, but has gone dramatically beyond it. A new anti-Semitism for which we almost need a new vocabulary to define it, but which, in the exigencies of time for one-liners, can best be defined as a discrimination against, denial of, assault upon the right of the Jewish people in Israel to live as an equal member of the family of nations, indeed, the right of Israel and the Jewish people to live. And so we must act against racism, against hate, against anti-Semitism, mass atrocity, and injustice, and against the crime of crimes, as I mentioned, whose name we should even shudder, tremble to mention, genocide, and always, always against indifference, against being bystanders to injustice. For in what we say, or more importantly, in what we do, in our maasim tovim, in our good deeds, we will make a statement about ourselves as a people. We will be making a statement about ourselves as people. For in our day, more than ever, qui s'excuse, s'accuse. Whoever remains indifferent indicts himself or herself. Jamais plus. Jamais plus.